Good evening, everyone. Hello. It's good to see you all here. My name is Alex Tobeck, and I am the new Executive Director of Alumni Relations. Welcome to Utah Valley University and tonight's award ceremony, where we will honor and celebrate those who have provided exceptional care to UVU through their many gifts of advocacy, time, talent, and treasure. So I came here in March. I was drawn to UVU to help advance the mission of educating every student for success in work and life. I believe strongly that our community of 93,000 alumni can be transformational in supporting that goal. In the coming years, with our partners in the community and across campus, we are looking to expand alumni relations at UVU. Most importantly, this means meeting alumni where they are. We will develop diverse ways for alumni to connect to each other through colleges and schools, through industry and affinity communities. We will create purposeful programming that offers volunteer opportunities for alumni, especially with our current students, so that ultimately we can provide every UVU student every year the opportunity for a meaningful connection with an alum. So when you come to UVU, you will forever be a Wolverine with a network of alumni who will help you to thrive in work and in life. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to recognize some of the greatest leaders in our community. Not only is this night important, but we are also celebrating UVU's 80th anniversary. It's a great time to be a Wolverine, and each of the award recipients this evening has solidified their legacy in UVU's history. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening and enjoy your meal.
I want to disrupt the conversation here for just a moment and welcome you again. My name is Mark Arstein. I'm Vice President of Institutional Advancement here at UVU, and I've been here about 7 months, started at the end of February. And so welcome. We're glad you're here. And I appreciate Alex and her comments. And I'm going to kind of get the program started here. And as we bring people up and we start introducing our award winners, continue to eat and enjoy your meal as we move forward with the program. But we're so glad you're here. I am in particular, this is my first, you're going around the sun once and I get to experience these things for the first time, but alumni relations really is part of my professional DNA. That's where, as my wife will tell you, we went to multiple events. I was an alumni director for 5 years and really feel strongly about the value of this function for institutional advancement and bringing back and engaging our alumni. So, and tonight we're here to really recognize some of our most special and dedicated alums who have really demonstrated some amazing things. And so I'm glad to be a part of it. I'll say just a couple other things with respect that we're about to really undergo a really transformational, comprehensive campaign that we're just in the early stages of. You'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. And a big part of that is how can we even grow this family even bigger? How can we engage and bring people to campus for UVU and really increase our engagement and the number of alums that are participating? So more to come on that, but that's part of our objective going forward is do all we can to create good experiences for our alums and get them engaged here in campus. So thank you again to all of you for your commitment, and we're going to begin the program and kick off our award presentation. And I want to introduce UVU's Director of the Center for National Security Studies, Ryan Vogel, who will present the Young Alumni Award. Ryan?
These things are heavy. I hope I don't drop it. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you here tonight. I have the distinction of presenting the Young Alumni Award, and this award is given to a recent graduate of UVU who continues to support the university in a profound and substantive manner. It is given to an individual who has continued to contribute their time, energy, and or money to support the university even after graduation. And in my mind, no one better fits that definition than tonight's recipient, my good friend, Andre Jones. So while he walks up here, many of you probably know Andre Jones. While he was a student here, he was a force of nature. He was involved in everything. Everything he touched turned to gold. He was a leader. He was a scholar, someone who earned the respect of students, faculty, and staff. I had only just met Andre when he came to me and said he had heard about us wanting to start a new national security journal. And he said he wanted to lead it, which his passion was contagious. He went on to develop really one of the best student national security journals in the country. And he was a huge asset for UVU as a student. He was one of those students that just made the program and the university look good wherever he went. Always was my pleasure to have him represent the National Security Studies program. But really, it's been his post-UVU career that has really distinguished him. Andre was admitted to some of the best graduate programs in the country, Georgetown, American University, et cetera. He ultimately decided to go to American University in Washington, D.C. on scholarship. While there, he excelled in many ways with internships, publications, competition teams. He secured a prestigious position in government working on his primary area of interest, cybersecurity policy. And through it all, Andre served as a resource for our students, mentoring them, meeting with them, answering their questions, serving as a remote guest speaker. We had him virtually meet with our students many times. He served as our National Security Society DC chapter president for 4 years now, gathering UVU's alumni in DC and really serving as that core of the network. Most recently, Andre has arranged for an internship agreement with the Department of Homeland Security for UVU students. That's been a huge, valuable thing for our students and been a major presence there and helped students in innumerable ways. Some of you guys have heard this, so I'm sure this has made the rounds, but Andre also coached our National Security Studies cybersecurity team to win a national championship this year. We beat Columbia, Tufts, all the service academies, and that was Andre. I should say, too, that was Andre's idea as well. He came to me and said, we should do this. We could win this competition. And 2 years later, we did win that competition. Yep. He spent lots of hours getting students prepared. First year we competed, we stunned a lot of people by making the semifinals. Next year we won the whole thing. So that's Andre. That's Andre in a nutshell right there. Andre's a dear friend. I am proud to call him one of our own. Congratulations to Andre Jones on an award well earned.
Man, he wasn't kidding. This thing is heavy. It's like an artillery shell. Thank you so much, Ryan. How honored I am to be back at UVU, home of the Wolverines. Even though I work and I live in the DC area now, I'm not a student anymore, but I still remember my first day at UVU. I showed up eager for orientation and messed up by going to the wrong event. Not a great start, but it was a student leadership event, and while I was there, I found the student energy addicting. It inspired me to get involved. That decision to become an engaged student led me to countless opportunities, many of which Ryan mentioned. I was able to study. I lived abroad. I served in student government. We have our student body president here sitting at our table. It was great to meet you, Karen. I worked in the UVU president's office, interned in the Senate, did some fundraising for UVU, found an academic journal that still exists today as well. And most importantly, I met and married my wife. And grateful Brooke is here today. We're also expecting, in a few months, we'll have a baby boy. So hopefully they have red hair so we can keep them. I'm just kidding. With Brooke, that last one gave me a whole new meaning of being an engaged student. I love the faculty. I love the people here. They tell you the motto of UVU is "Come as you are, then leave, ready to make a difference in the world." I love that motto. After graduating, my wife and we moved to DC for work and more school. Even though I moved across the country, I still couldn't resist the urge to stay engaged and to stay connected with UVU. So as a member of the UVU alumni community, I figured out ways to help other interns and alums who are coming to DC, helping them with school and work and finding internships. I want to help them to become successful, like my mentors, like Ryan Vogel, and my professors had helped me. When I was in grad school, I really liked cybersecurity, and I found these cybersecurity competitions. So for these competitions, you play the role of a team advising the president on what to do the day after a huge cyber attack. And I thought, there are some great students at UVU who do really well with this. So I returned the following year, instead as a coach, bringing the first team from Utah, the Wolverines, and they made the semifinals. And then this year, of course, as Ryan said, the Wolverines they won. They beat schools like Georgetown, Columbia, West Point. It was a great win for UVU, and everyone I'm sure was Googling UVU all of a sudden that day on the national level, being like, this is an awesome school. And suddenly those students were recognized nationally and headhunted by cybersecurity firms, government agencies to come and work for them. So certainly these alumni who came as they were to UVU are now ready to graduate from UVU and make a difference in the world. I believe that help will always be given at UVU to those who ask for it. So my advice to any UVU students is to be engaged, get involved, and when you're done, go make a difference in the world. Thank you.
So, welcome everyone. My name's Michaela Gazdick-Stouffer, and I am the chair of the biology department here at UVU. I've worked with our next award recipient for 5 years, because that's how long I have been here at UVU. She's been a great mentor, colleague, and friend, so I am honored to present this year's Distinguished Service Award to Dr. Heather Wilson-Ashworth. The Distinguished Service Award is presented to a living individual who has served to further the purposes and the mission of UVU through their affiliation with the university as an employee or a volunteer. Their active service should be recent and have had a profound effect on the university. So Dr. Ashworth is a professor of biology. She has worked in the biology department for 20 years. This is her 21st year here at UVU. She's a dedicated and passionate professor who cares deeply about the success of both her students in the classroom and out of the classroom. And that desire to see her students succeed is really what motivated her to start researching what are the best practices in science pedagogy, through which she discovered POGIL. So POGIL Pedagogies is a nationwide group. It supports process-oriented guided inquiry. And Dr. Ashworth actively pursued training on her own time to learn how to facilitate and incorporate POGIL best practices into her courses. And she's had great success at implementing these practices in her classroom. Her students work together in 4-person teams to construct their own knowledge of biological concepts. And since implementing this POGIL pedagogy, the failure rate in her general biology classes has fallen from the department average of about 20% to 5 to 7%. Her commitment to service in pursuit of the university's engaged learning mission extends beyond her own courses and her own students. Due to the success of her students in her classes, Dr. Ashworth has really been approached by faculty from other disciplines around the university, including behavioral sciences, chemistry, digital media, with requests for mentorship and training in these POGIL practices. Dr. Ashworth has enthusiastically taken on that role of mentor and trainer. She's mentored UVU faculty one-on-one in POGIL pedagogies. She's spearheaded writing groups for those interested on campus, and has run workshops both locally and nationally in POGIL trainings, where she always encourages and supports attendance of UVU faculty. Dr. Ashworth's commitment to actively pursuing POGIL techniques and sharing that knowledge through mentoring and training of others has provided tremendous contributions to student success across the university. But these activities are time intensive. They require hours of developing course materials. A single activity can take at least 40 hours to develop, refine, and test. Dr. Ashworth donates her time to complete these trainings herself, and also leading workshops and assisting others in development of their own course materials. To me, that's the definition of service: the donation of time without the expectation of a direct benefit to oneself. Heather does this selflessly to improve the academic outcomes of her own students, as well as those across the university. I also want to take a minute to highlight that Dr. Ashworth gives service beyond the classroom. Most notably this year, she's serving as president of the UVU chapter for the Utah Women in Higher Education Network, which is an employee organization committed to advancing women equity and leadership in higher education, which is a cause that is near and dear to my heart, and I believe Heather is going to be great at this new role. So Dr. Ashworth's service through leadership, training, and mentorship has influenced the learning of thousands of students across this university, and I'm delighted to present her this well-earned award.
Holding it. Yeah, it is heavy. Trying to hold this and hold my notes is kind of funny. First of all, I'd like to thank Jesse Hill for nominating me for this award, and all of those, my dean, Danny Horns, Michaela, my department chair, and all of the other administrators, staff, and colleagues that have helped me in my efforts to help students be successful in biology. One thing that I love about UVU is the students. I think that's my primary reason for being here. As an employee at UVU, I feel like we stand on hallowed ground because of the potential impact that we can have on students' lives. For example, I'd like to tell you about one student. Her name is Haley. Haley was in my physiology class, my human physiology class, and she was the top student. Because of her success in the course, I then proceeded to invite her to be my teaching assistant the following semester. And so we would engage in conversations, and I would ask her, what's your long-term plan? And Haley's like, I'm going to be a dental hygienist. And I said, you will be a great dental hygienist. You are skilled, you are knowledgeable, you will do well. And then I said, FYI, if you want it, you also have what it takes to go to dental school. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And I said, okay, that's fine. Well, 3 years later, I walk into the biology department lobby, and there's Haley. And I'm like, Haley, what are you doing here? And she laughs nervously, and she's like, I hated dental hygiene. No offense. Okay, this was Haley. And I said, oh, and she's like, yeah, I'm back to do the prerequisites. I'm going to dental school. And bless her heart, she did research with me for the next year and a half until she applied. And I have to tell you, Haley applied to like 10 schools, and she got accepted to every one. She was amazing. And so she is just one example of the kind of students that I seek out. I think as I have conversations with students, I find so often that some of them do not have someone in their lives that has helped them see their amazing abilities. And so I look for opportunities to have these kinds of conversations with the students. And more recently, to be honest with you, I've started doing this with colleagues as well. But when students are shown the potential that they cannot see in themselves, they take that vision and run with it. And the trajectory of their lives is changed forever. I think it's really important that all of us, both in our personal and professional lives, have the ability to do that for those that we love and the people that we encounter, and helping each other see their untapped potential. I would encourage you to do that as well. Thank you.
Oh, I should have pulled out my glasses before I picked up the 50-pound award. See if we can manage this here. That's a great award. So I'm Norm Wright, Dean of the Woodbury School of Business, and I'm here to present the Corporate Catalyst Award. The Corporate Catalyst Award is given to a business whose pioneering initiatives have demonstrated success and contributions to the community and the mission of UVU. This award recognizes strategic planning, employee development, community involvement, customer service, and corporate integrity. And I cannot think of a better company to represent these traits than the Woodbury Corporation. The Woodbury Corporation has earned a reputation for taking a thoughtful, hands-on approach to real estate development and management. More than just adding structures, Woodbury Corporation is adding to the very fabric of a community. Through 4 generations of experience, Woodbury has developed a highly specialized skill set that has helped them to become a leader in the industry and marketplace while focusing on building communities. Now, on a personal note, when I joined UVU about 11 years ago, I stood in awe of this family who had made the first 8-figure gift to UVU. When I asked members of the family why they had done so, they talked about giving back to Orem. Many of you will know that University Place, formerly University Mall, was developed and managed by the Woodbury family since its beginnings. This is where I saw the very first Star Wars movie, and how cool was that? It's where I had my first part-time job working at Baskin-Robbins, scooping up that delicious ice cream, where I found my favorite tie at a store called Castleton's, if you'll remember that one, where I inconspicuously walked by that one store 5 times where the object of my affection was working in hopes that we could have a chance meeting. And where I did the majority of my Christmas shopping year after year after year after year. It was all there at University Mall, now University Place. So University Place was central to my community as a child, a teenager, and even now as an adult. The Woodbury family saw their support of UVU as an extension of that community in Orem centered around the University Mall. They saw it as a chance to give back to the residents of Utah Valley by strengthening the UVU offering and brand. They also hoped that we would be able to leverage their money and their good name to attract other investors and the students who choose UVU as their bridge to the world of careers and community participation. As we look around today at the many buildings and programs dotting UVU's campus, including the new Scott C. Keller building, our new programs in engineering and physician assistants, and even our membership in the WAC, those and many other wonderful opportunities came to UVU in part because one prominent Utah family lent their wallets, their expertise, and their precious good name to UVU. That is why I'm absolutely honored and delighted to present them with this UVU Corporate Catalyst Award. Thank you to the Woodbury family, represented by Randy today. This is a family whom I've come to love and respect these past 11 years. You've made this community stronger.
It's just like graduation. That's right. Hey, you expect me to hold this? You want me to hold it? You got it?
Thank you, Dean Wright. He's older than I thought. Hearing those stories. Well, on behalf of the Woodbury Corporation family, I'm honored to accept this recognition tonight. As he said, years ago, when contemplating a gift to the business school, our hope was to consolidate our resources to an extent that we could do something significant enough to make a real difference. Something that might actually move the needle and catapult the school forward. Upon learning of the award, I inquired of Dean Wright to what extent our hopes had actually been achieved. He reports that since the time of our commitment, the Woodbury School has increased from 3,058 to more than 5,160 undergraduate students pursuing business degrees, and from 0 to almost 250 master's degree students. Faculty has nearly doubled. Engaged learning projects have tripled, and hundreds of students are engaged in consulting projects with local, national, and even international companies. Donor funds to support student activities, scholarships, and space needs have grown from less than $1 million to over $50 million. To the extent that our commitment has in fact been a catalyst to help the Woodbury School to serve more students, attract better faculty, and draw additional donor support and build state-of-the-art program to educate students and better prepare them for careers in business, I would say to each in our family that have contributed to this effort, job well done. I hope that you share in my satisfaction that we have in fact moved the needle. And to the Woodbury School and the university, I say thank you for being such good stewards and making the most out of the gifts received from us and from others. UVU is a remarkable institution doing great things, changing lives, changing futures. The work is ongoing, and we're proud to be partners in such a noble cause. Thank you.
Good evening, distinguished guests and honorees. My name is Pierre Lamarche, and I am Professor of Philosophy and Chair of the Department of Philosophy and Humanities here at Utah Valley University. It is my great pleasure and great honor this evening to introduce the recipient of the Wilson W. Sorensen Lifetime Achievement Award for 2020, Dr. Elaine E. Engelardt. The Sorensen Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes and honors Utah Valley University employees who have continually served and made a significant contribution to furthering the university's purposes and mission throughout their lives. It is awarded to individuals who have dedicated themselves to the growth and advancement of Utah Valley University in honor of Wilson W. Sorensen, who served as Utah Valley University president for 36 years. Dr. Elaine E. Engelardt, Distinguished Professor of Ethics and Professor of Philosophy, began her incredible journey at Utah Valley University in 1976 as a journalism and English instructor and advisor to the student newspaper. Quite an accomplishment for a 7-year-old. I do not have time to enumerate all her extraordinary contributions to the university in the areas of teaching and service and to the academic community as a whole through her prodigious scholarship. It would take me literally all evening. I can merely mention some of the highlights of her exceptionally distinguished career in service to this institution. Beginning as an instructor in 1976, Elaine has been Distinguished Professor of Ethics since 2005. In her time at UVU, Elaine has developed curriculum for no fewer than 9 courses, including core humanities courses for all degree students at UVU, the nationally recognized general education course, Ethics and Values. She developed the Associate of Applied Science and Associate of Science degrees in the early 1980s, as well as the Integrated Studies degree. She coordinated both the Chinese Studies program and the development of our amazing, spectacular Capitol Reef Field Station. She developed and chaired the General Education Task Force from 1984 to 2003. Elaine is the chief architect of our outstanding general education program here at Utah Valley University. She also developed and founded the, again, nationally recognized Center for the Study of Ethics. Multiple teaching, service, and scholarship awards inside and outside of the institution, including the State of Utah Governor's Award in the Humanities and the Theodore M. Hesburgh Award, a national first place award for faculty development to enhance undergraduate teaching and learning for her development of the university's ethics across the curriculum program. Chair, Director, Dean, Vice Presidential appointments, and Special Assistant to the President from 2003 to 2012. Scores of books, journal articles, book chapters, refereed and invited papers, editorships, and grants. Elaine is a leading and internationally recognized figure in multiple areas of applied and practical ethics, and communicative ethics in particular. Apart from these staggering accomplishments in teaching, administration, service, program building, and scholarship, Elaine's most lasting contribution to this university may very well be through her decades of mentorship of both students, faculty, staff, and administrators. She has been an inspiration to me as a model colleague, administrator, and of course, friend, since I arrived at UVU in the fall of 2000. I think it's accurate to say that I have followed the WWED principle in my over 2 decades here. When faced with a difficult situation, ask oneself, what would Elaine do? I cannot imagine a profile more fitting of recognition as the Wilson W. Sorensen Lifetime Achievement Award recipient than my extraordinary colleague and exceptional friend, Dr. Elaine Eliason Englehardt.
Thank you, Pierre. Pierre has been an incredible colleague and friend over the years, and thank you to all of you. Thank you for what you've done for Utah Valley University. I am so very grateful to have my family here with me tonight because they've been part of this long journey with me. My son, well, first of all, my husband, Mike Pritchard, my son, Richard Englehardt, and his wife, Amanda Buchheit, and their daughter, Adeline, and they're just exiting for a moment. They're from San Antonio, Texas. Both physicians there have a wonderful practice. My son-in-law, Gautam Bhattacharya, my daughter Kelly back here with Ava. And they said, you know, Mom, there might be disruptions tonight. And I said, you kids mean more to me than anything, you and your children, and then I need to have you here with me. Sadly, their dad, Kirk Englehardt, passed away 18 years ago. And, you know, Kirk and the kids and I were the biggest enthusiasts of Utah Valley University that you would find. So my children went to Child Care Center here. They could spell Utah Technical College at a very early age. And that's where I started. I was, you know, Utah Technical College. Then we moved on into Utah Valley Community College. And by then we'd started our Ethics and Values program. We received a large grant from National Endowment for the Humanities. And we were able to start this course that all students would take, a course that was designed to teach them not so much as how to do something, but how to be someone. And we used the disciplines of history, religion, literature, and philosophy as a way of weaving this together. So since 1986, your students have been taking this class, and many of the students that I see out here today, former students, were exceptional students in that class. It also, you know, acts as a nice area of speech that students can share with one another for talking about interesting things going on in the world. And I've been privileged enough to have grants for about 22 years from different national organizations. We were able to start an Ethics Across the Curriculum program. It's now an international program, but it started right here at Utah Valley University, and we were able to disseminate it. And that includes a journal, Teaching Ethics. And so we're really proud to be emissaries of Utah Valley University. And I think we're well known for doing ethics well here, whether it's with that program or our Center for the Study of Ethics, whether it's our philosophy program. It's all amazing. Just to tell you, when I was named Vice President for Scholarship and Outreach at UVU, it was actually supposed to be research, but we couldn't use the research name. And I still don't know if we're allowed to use that name much, President Tuminas, but we do outstanding scholarship here and research. And through that program, we were able to start an IRB and see many, many faculty start working on their own programs as well as student programs, student faculty programs. And it was an important move that this university needed to make. Capitol Reef Field Station was just an amazing project. Finding this piece of land that used to be an old dude ranch right in the middle of Capitol Reef, and being able to get Senator Bob Bennett to put in $2 million to help us develop that project. And now it's just a gem, not only for this country, but for the world. And we love having scholars, educational groups from all over come and stay there with us and see our field station. I think maybe being a lobbyist for UVU for about 10 years was one of my more interesting functions here. So I would go back to Washington, D.C. several times a year. I always made sure I brought our senators and representatives to campus at least once a year to meet our students, our faculty, especially our administrators and our community. And it was an important area that I could do. And so the last chapter of my life started when my husband passed away. And about 6 years later, Mike Pritchard and I were married, and we really enjoyed doing a lot of writing of books together, doing our presenting and our writing together. And I just find day-to-day happiness at Utah Valley University. I'm so proud of this place. I really love it. And I know that my family really loves it. My husband, Mike Pritchard, has just been such a devotee to it, as well as my late husband, Kirk. So thank you. I didn't ever think I'd be getting an award like this, and I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful to see Scott and Karen Smith here today. Thank you for coming, and it's just so good to see so many friends. I know I can't name everyone, but thank you so much for this award. Thank you to the Alumni Association.
Good evening. It's so wonderful to be here tonight. Sorry. So I will just talk. Our little monitor's not working, but I can speak from the heart on this award. So I am here tonight to represent and to award the Legacy Award. And it's a family or friend, family or friend. They feel like family and friends. It's a friend of the university who has contributed in important ways it could be in their talent, time, in a variety of ways. And there is nobody, honestly, that I think is more deserving of this award than Curtis B. Blair, one of our very own. Would you like to come? Curtis is amazing.
You're so sweet.
So let me tell you a little about Curtis. So he was snagged many years ago to become one of our alumni president. And as thank you. Let's see.
You're doing great. And we're the only thing between the chocolate dessert.
Oh, that's right. So we better keep it really brief because that chocolate dessert's waiting for everyone, right? So let me just see where I can find. Okay, I can find my place here. So Curtis has served in many capacities at UVU. He has served as a member of the Board of Trustees, president of the Alumni Association, president of the Wolverine Club, Go Wolverines, and he is also a member of the foundation board. He's affectionately known as the business alchemist because Curtis has led 5 companies to multi-million-dollar status, including a growing marketing company from $0 to $15 million in just 6 years. As a seasoned executive, I know that he has employed countless UVU interns and graduates, mentoring them to become business leaders on their own right. On February 13th, he and his beautiful bride unveiled the Curtis and Lisa Blair box office at the Norda Center for the Performing Arts. The Blair family made a generous contribution to help complete that beautiful state-of-the-art facility. Curtis became the CEO and president of the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce. During the height of COVID, that would be challenging. But he was also recognized as one of Utah Valley's magazine's Fab 40, one of Utah Valley's 40 most fabulous folk for 2021. So when Curtis is not golfing, drinking Diet Coke, or training for a triathlon, he continues his legacy of service in the community as a board member of AdoptionLife.org, Southern Utah University, and Utah Valley's Foundation Board. His impact has been immeasurable, truly. And there's only 2 words we can say, and that is thank you, thank you, thank you. He has mentored and loved so many. If you know him, he's my friend, for one. He's charismatic. He's a true gentleman. Anyone in the room, he'll make you feel loved and wanted and needed here at UVU. He's just been a tremendous blessing here, and we're so grateful to give you this award this night. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get in trouble.
My goodness, Drew, thank you. Wow, what an honor. As substantial as this is, those words are as meaningful. Thank you, Drew. I stand on the shoulders of some great people, and many of those individuals are in this room tonight. And so I appreciate you being here. I look around and see so many friendly faces and co-Wolverine fans. It's one thing about this university that has a multiplication factor. Each time I feel that I give something, time, treasure, talent, as Alex mentioned, I get something in return. I then feel indebted and feel like I have to return another contribution of time, talent, and we are wrestling until we have found that our children are here, our energy is here, our love and passion is here, and we still, and now tonight, I owe more back to the university. We'll have to figure something out. But this is how my experience started at UVU. I was invited to play at a golf tournament. We were looking at raising funds for a building. I can't remember, maybe it was the one that was a School of the Arts. Dean Newell Daly at the time. And we'd finished playing the round, and I put my name in for a raffle to win the hole-in-one, because if you won, you get $1 million. So they had the insurance package all ready to go. They had cameras out there on hole 18. They converted it to a par 3. We had just played that hole. I knew exactly the iron to hit from a 165. It's an 8-iron for me. I knew that it broke right to left. I remember vividly that ball sailing in the air. And this is at Talon's Cove, so they have that big balcony, and everyone was out watching. And just before I struck that ball, I looked at the cameras and I said, if I put this thing in, I'm going to donate that $1 million to the Norda School of the Arts. So I thought, well, luck's on my side now. So I hit that ball, it sails towards its target. I hit the spot I was aiming for, it starts going by that hole, and you should have heard the gallery. It was a and then I knew I'd missed. But I took from that experience a thought, and that was this. I may not have $1 million, but I can give something. And if I give something now, when I have some more later, I can give more at that time. And if you give when you have a little, you'll give when you have more. And I found that the ROI at UVU is an amazing return on that investment, whether it's your time, your talent, or your treasure. This is truly an honor, and an honor is really a thank you. There is no honor without a mother. She's not here tonight, but she wanted to be safe, and her health is such that she needs to be careful. But I love you, Mom. My dad's here, my wife, and my family. They're the joy of my life. I want my 5 children to stand. If I didn't warn them, they wouldn't have done it. So I want my 5 kiddos to stand. These young men and my daughter are amazing. Bennett in the burgundy jackets, our youngest, he is the biggest UVU basketball fan. He will bring the belt. We cheer on. We have pom-poms. We can't outdo President Tuminez, but we try. My daughter is the dancing princess. If President is the dancing queen, she's the dancing princess. It's the reason we come to the scholarship ball, is to dance with President Tuminez, and she takes the lead in that. Addison is at BYU Law. Erickson's a student here at UVU, 2 majors, and then Ethan just graduated from a college in Cedar City, SUU, and is teaching drama. Thank you. Ma, Lisa, will you stand? This is my everything. Lisa, thank you. You are amazing. She is awesome on the inside and the out. Love you, dear. Okay, quickly. I've stood on this pulpit to give awards for the last probably 12, 13 years, and some of the recipients are here tonight. Grateful for my friends, for my mentors, Curtis Morley, the Walkenhursts, the Millers to be here, and so many of you that are here. And Dr. Reyes, I know you could be at 14 different places. Kara, I know there's lots you could be doing tonight. President, I just admire your leadership. Thank you. And I know that you don't have a lot of free time, but you give of your time freely. And that's what makes this place so special. Thank you very much for letting me be a part of the UVU family.
Good evening. My name's David Conley. I was thinking to myself, it's nice to go last because you don't grab the wrong award. But then they handed it to me, so I couldn't screw up. But then I was reminded we're actually between you and chocolate, so it's even worse. I have the privilege of presenting the Outstanding Alumni Award. This award is presented to a living alumna who has a distinguished record in service in their specialized area of endeavor, thus bringing honor and recognition to the university. The recipient of this this year is Robert Vera Jr. Come on. Robert is the Vice President, Deputy Director of Budget for New York City Economic Development Corporation. I'll let him explain that one to you. The joy of overseeing more money than most states are worth, or small countries. Previously, he was the Deputy Chief of Capital Fiscal Management at New York City Department of Parks and Recreation, in which he oversaw operations at Central Park and the Central Park Zoo with a $5 billion capital budget. That was a B, I did say, by the way. Robert is the 2011 graduate of UVU, having received his Bachelor of Science in Political Science. Robert then used his exceptional preparation obtained at UVU. I was in that department, and received his MPA, much more important, from Cornell University in 2014. On a personal note, as you start teaching a class, it does not take long to figure out where students are in terms of their preparation for the course. Robert was one of those students that you often feel for as an instructor, since you know the course will not really be enough for the capacity the student has for the material. What stands out about Robert is that he took that capacity and on his own went beyond the material of the class. His questions and interests made it apparent that he had a passion for public service and a strong desire to build the skills that would allow him to thrive in that space. The somewhat cursory tour of his career I have given you tonight should show you he has advanced quickly and has a bright future in public service. Nothing could warm the heart of a public administration faculty more. UVU is proud to have Robert be recognized with the Outstanding Alumni Award this year. Thank you, Robert, for the work you do and how you represent UVU. Robert Vera Jr.
Pretty sure I got up too soon. I was thinking about two things as I was the last one here. One, what a distinguished lineup, and how did I get here? And two, I was hoping that I didn't have anything in my teeth as I came up here. This December marks 10 years since I graduated from Utah Valley University. As I look back on the last decade, it's hard not to see my experience at UVU as a key pillar in my professional foundation. I came to UVU at a time in my life when I was seeking a major change from all I had known in Queens, New York. UVU's rolling admissions allowed me to take the plunge and move to Orem, a place I knew virtually nothing about. It turned out to be a great decision. Coming to college was the first step toward developing the confidence I needed to begin a lifelong career. This confidence was a crucial first piece in my professional foundation. In the following years, I dove headfirst into my studies, and through many courses and mentors who believed in me, I developed a greater vision of possibility. In my final semester at UVU, I interned at the Utah State Legislature. This opportunity, along with several of my courses at UVU, were fundamental in my decision to pursue an advanced degree and embrace my excitement for the public sector work, which is not easy. Having access to opportunities for real-world experience and an education from professors who were invested in my success was an invaluable combination that contributed to my professional foundation. Since graduating, I've had wonderful opportunities to continue my studies and pursue a graduate degree and navigate a career. It was hard in the public sector in New York City. Although I'm still relatively young in my career, I felt fulfilled by the work I've contributed to by overseeing aspects of New York City's budget. Along the way, I felt continued to feel the support of my alma mater and appreciated the academic community I feel part of, even 2,000 miles away. The community and support have been great assets to my professional foundation and have influenced what I hope to cultivate throughout my career. And it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge that coming to UVU also introduced me to my greatest supporter, my wife. And I did want to thank also my mom, who was the definition of what it means to be gritty and have grit. Thank you, and go Wolverines.
All right, first I'm here to let you know that you can eat your cake. Most importantly. And to remind you actually that your dinner was prepared by students of UVU, the Culinary Arts Program. So they have created dinner, they've served you dinner tonight, they're amazing. I am amazed by the award recipients that we've recognized tonight. As I listened to the remarks describing their individual accomplishments, their family accomplishments, and family impact, I realized a common theme: mentorship and exceptional care. All of you are leaders who give back to this university and the community, and we're so grateful. Thank you all for coming tonight. Our award recipients are invited to join us immediately after the program, right over here to take photos with the president. And speaking of the president, it is my great honor to introduce you to the leader who has charged us to help students leave UVU better equipped to face life, President Astrid S. Jimenez.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you, Alex. I want to begin with an announcement that Andre Jones and Robert Vera may not like. you didn't pay enough tuition, because if you found your spouse also at this university, you actually have to pay extra. We will send you that bill. I want to thank everyone who came tonight to this occasion, and I was thinking of what to say as I was sitting there. And as I listened to the stories of our awardees, a phrase of scripture came to mind, and I don't even know where this is, but this is somewhere in the scriptures. Then definitely not the Bhagavad Gita. But the phrase is, eyes to see, ears to hear, and hearts to understand. And so when I think about what's happened at UVU, we're 80 years old, we're very young 80. We are not decrepit, at least not yet. I think that everybody whose story was told tonight had eyes to see the possibilities for this university, to see the possibilities for themselves as individuals, to see the possibilities for the community and for the state of Utah. And these people that we honored tonight also had ears to hear. And by the way, all of us who are in this banquet tonight, I hope we were listening. I hope that we were listening, because the stories that we heard are very powerful stories. They are a little bit of guideposts on how to live. And so I was reading, War and Peace the other day. Have you all read War and Peace? It's 2,000 pages. and there was a scene where the central character had just had a duel. And so he was reflecting on big questions in life. What is love? What is hate? What governs life? What is God? And I think those are really good questions to reflect upon. And if we were listening tonight, we heard some really good answers. And finally, I think the last phrase is hearts to understand. What I think is important to understand is that every individual who comes through the doors of UVU has dreams, whether that's a student, a staff member, or faculty. And making these dreams come true is our business. And you have heard that when people put their attention to something and their hearts are sincere and understand the work that is at hand, amazing things happen. So next week I'm celebrating 3 years at Utah Valley University. The faculty hasn't yet voted no confidence in me, thank you. But every day here is energizing. Every day is wonderful because the work that we do is so meaningful. And I want to thank all of you for being with us on this journey. You will not regret it. So thank you, and praise and honor to all of the people that we honored tonight. Your stories are amazing. You give me tremendous inspiration to keep going. So thank you so much. Eat your chocolate.